Companies can absolutely exist without parasites at the top.
Parasites? They're not parasites. Hold on.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
We'll be joined by Jacob Morrison here in just a second. He is with the Valley Labor Report. It airs right here Saturday, 9:30 to 11. He also filled in on Monday, and we appreciate him doing that, 8 to 9 right here. Jacob Morrison covers labor issues in a way that nobody else does in this country. He does it on the radio, and he goes on conservative talk radio, and he voices his opinion, which I think is wrong a lot of times, but he's willing to do it, so we appreciate him being here and talking with us. One of the things that he's been following is this UAW strike suggestion. It could happen as early as, I believe, the 14th. That will be happening on the 14th if they're unable to come to some deals. And this involves more than just one auto worker. Ford, GM, they are looking at these issues, and we'll see if they're going to have a big strike and what that does to both the economy and the auto industry. Yesterday, or should I say on Labor Day, Joe Biden did not go to Michigan. Was that an intentional snub? Some teams seem to think so. He didn't want to insert himself in the middle of that strike, even though he's done that before. Jacob Morrison, let's bring him on here. Jacob, do you believe that it was an intentional snub by Joe Biden?
Can you say that again?
Do you believe that was an intentional snub by Joe Biden making the decision not to go to Michigan during on Labor Day?
I just couldn't say. I think that would be that wouldn't be very good for him if he if he were to intentionally snubbing labor. So I really couldn't say. I couldn't tell you.
Well, I mean, what do you think? I mean, give me a thought. I mean, you got to have an opinion on the matter.
If I had to guess, I mean, I could see it as saying, him saying to the UAW, that I'm not going to just do, anything you want, because there were he made some comments over the weekend about not thinking that there was going to be an auto strike. And that really upset the UAW because the bargaining is not going well with the big three right now. They are not budging on any of the issues that are important to the UAW. And so the president of the UAW shot back and said that, he was shocked by Biden's comments that he didn't think there was going to be an auto strike, and saying that, if he really thinks that, he has to know something that we don't. Maybe he's been talking to the CEOs, and maybe the CEOs are telling him, oh, yeah, well, we're going to give them everything that they want. We're just not doing it right now. But barring that, a strike is very likely. And so for Biden to come out and say that, I think was insulting. And so maybe, him not going to Michigan and being with the UAW on Labor Day, maybe that was part of an effort to kind of rein in the UAW. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sort of a response to that particular issue. Okay, all right, maybe that is the case. Do you think there's going to be a strike here? I mean, you've noted before that, GM hasn't even offered up a counterpoint at this point. Ford's counterpoint has been basically rejected. So what do you make from all of that?
We still have 9 days, I think it is, 8 or 9 days before the contract expires. So a lot can happen in 8 or 9 days. But if the companies don't, radically change their position at the bargaining table, I think that a strike is inevitable, because, like you said, both GM and Stellantis, neither of them have offered a counterproposal to the UAW's members' demands, and Ford was really, really, in bad faith. They did not move their wages. The wage proposal that Ford gave was 9% over 4 years. That would not even keep pace with inflation, they would be making less in 4 years than they are today, much less where they were, 10 years ago. I mean,
but Jacob, hold on. Isn't that where most of us are anyway? I mean, it's not right and it's not good, and it's a problem with the economy in general. Real wages are down since the first quarter of 2021. I mean, so everyone else is in that camp. Why would they be any different?
Because their company has been very, very profitable over the last 10 years, and they have the power, just like the Teamsters did with UPS. Ultimately for the lowest wage earners at UPS, they're going to be seeing a 50% wage increase over the 5 years of the contract. And that's because UPS has been so profitable, literally never having made more profits in the history of the company than in the last few years. And the big three automakers are in the same boat. And on top of never having made more profits, Ford in particular is on track this year to increase their dividend payouts by 150%. Last year, they paid $2 billion in dividends. This year, they are on track to pay out $5 billion in dividends. And dividends are just money that goes to people who have money. Not for people who work, not for people who actually created the cars.
I mean, it's also the people who invested in the company. I mean, without the people who invested in the companies don't exist. They invest in order to get those dividends. If you don't pay dividends, people won't invest. I mean, that's sort of how this all works.
Companies can absolutely exist without, kind of parasites at the top taking
parasites. They're not parasites. Hold on. The guy who throws down the seed corn for the company to start or to grow or to invest in new equipment, etc. Whatever. Those people aren't parasites. They can lose their money as well. I mean, that's the reality. They're not parasites.
Well, I disagree. I think that the people who actually do the work are the ones.
So I want to make sure I get this. Hold on. I want to make sure I understand this. Your radio show, the Valley Labor Report. If somebody invests in that for a percentage of ownership in that program, and they don't do any of the actual work, but they provide you with the ability to get on other radio stations, buy new equipment, I don't know, spend money on grooming your beard and things of that nature. Those individuals are parasites.
Yeah, and that's why we don't give offers for people to buy part of our project. It's all democratically run by the people who participate in it. We're run not for profit. Nobody owns it, in fact. But yeah, I think that the people who do the work are the people who create the value, and that the people who do the work are actually the people who really, in fact, create the value that can then be reinvested into the company.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so those parasites that have invested into the company, I guess out of altruism, they're going to provide these workers with more money. Is there going to be a UAW strike there with the auto workers that involves multiple companies in that industry?
Well, and, just to say, I think that is not a terribly, that's not a very rare opinion that, people who just have money, that it doesn't really make sense for them to make money just because they have money, or to make so much more money than the rest of us. And it doesn't make sense that in just 1 year, the dividend, their raise, essentially, for having money is going to be 150% in 1 year, not a 50% raise, 150%, while they are trying, the owners of this company are trying to get the workers, again, in what the Ford CEO said was a golden era for the company, to take a pay. And I think that that's a very, very common position among working people, that's not right. And so that's why, actually, a poll came out recently that 70% of the American public support the UAW in their bargaining with the Big Three, and it's why I think that a lot of people will be on the picket line with UAW members if there is a strike.
Well, what do you make for this? Ford loses nearly $60,000 for every electrical vehicle sold. A lot of growing pains in the switch over to electric. Is now the time for UAW to start sucking off the parasites that are investing in this company?
Absolutely, there are not growing pains when it comes to electric vehicles, because if you take a look at how much it costs to produce it versus how much they sell it, maybe it's true that they lose 50% on it. I'm not sure. I'd have to check. But they are getting billions of dollars in subsidies from the U.S. government, from the taxpayer. And so there's absolutely, for the Ford CEOs and the shareholders and all those, there is not growing pains. In fact, they are awash with cash from the government, just like Tesla and these foreign auto manufacturers are. And so, I think that is just, in fact, another reason that the people who actually make the cars deserve more of the money, because now we're talking about my money. We're talking about the money of the American worker going to create going to pay these people to make these vehicles. And I don't want my money subsidizing CEOs taking and taking and taking.
It sounds like you want to invest in those workers, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, what a parasite. I mean, what kind of parasite are you? Investing in those workers and expecting some sort of return? God, what a parasite. You see what I did there?
No, because I'm not aware of me taking money from them on the other end. So,
okay,
as a taxpayer.
All right, when we come back, is there going to be a strike? You think so, and you support it, correct?
I think that it's looking more likely, and yeah, absolutely, I support it, and the super majority of the American people do.
Okay, there we go. Hey, do you have a 401k?
I do not. I have an equivalent though. I also have a pension.
Oh, what? You parasite! Unbelievable.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project. And you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.